and community thrive. I will be sharing my personal experience as the way I'm in a rural setup, what makes village life so unique, and answering actually your live questions. Let's connect, learn, and celebrate our roots. So I'll start by introducing myself, that I go by the name Maxwell Lumumba. That's my name, but my YouTube channel name, I'm called Farm with Maxwell. So I'll start by welcoming the viewers so that we can have a very good session about being in a rural setup, so we can really appreciate that. So after introducing my name and my channel, we will share what we will be talking about: village life, farming, your experience, and we can have a session of about question and answers. So that means I'll be answering all the questions that I'll be asked, regardless of where the question comes from. When it comes to animals, you can still ask. When we talk about village life, you can ask questions about the village life, how village life looks, the way it looks, and I'll really tell you how it will be. So I'll start by sharing my story, and I'll start by how village life shaped my, let's say, how I'm doing in the village. First, I have to appreciate this village, because this village goes by the name Isibania village, where I'm staying currently. Remember, I usually tell people my journey started somewhere in Eldoret, where I went to Eldoret as a shamba boy, because it was very quick to me to adapt in that environment. I got some knowledge about this thing that we call working with animal. That there is why most of the people know me as an animal lover. I usually refer to myself that way, because when somebody checks at my content, is majorly working with animal, but I never went to school for those animals. What I just got is just knowledge about that animal, and I have to be thankful to that farm, which transformed me to know things about animals, so that nowadays I'm just basically back in the village. I'm just volunteering, training people, training farmers, all stuffs about animals. It is not that because I have that extra knowledge for that, just because of that gift, because I just saw what people are doing back in Eldoret, and now I'm just translating what was done in Eldoret to this village of Isibania, so that to help people learn about the modern ways and the technological ways on how to do farming. Yeah, so the joys and the challenges of rural life, I have to talk about them. One of the joy thing about this rural life, it helps me, at least I can integrate with a lot of people in this community well, irrespective of maybe I was away in this village for some duration. Now I'm back to this village. I'm just offering those services. Remember, I just left this village for around 4 years. I'm now back with full of wisdom, with full of knowledge about animals, and I really appreciate about that. Yeah, getting out of village so that you go as a shamba boy, then you come back to the same village, and you thrive very well, because now they can see you as the future of this community. Because now I'm just training people on how to do different farming, different styles of farming, and they really appreciate about that. Yeah, so another thing that I can just tell people is just about maybe the memorable farm visits that I usually talk about, animal stories, and even the community moment. Yeah, remember when I got out to this village, a lot of people were asking me, what are you going to do? Because I was to go to school first, but due to lack of finances, that's why I just decided. Yeah, because you won't be the burden to maybe the community, you won't be the burden to the family, so you had to sacrifice yourself so that to let other people learn who are just back of you. So you have to let them, to just give them the chance so that they can get educated. You remove that burden. So that's why I decided to be a shamba boy. But I have to praise this Lord that we usually talk about this Lord, because now I am with gifted knowledge. People call me here and there so that I can just give them wisdom on their farms. But I usually tell people the way I just stated, I said I'm not learned, yeah, about this animal, but I can handle this animal. I can make correct diagnosis. I can treat this animal. But when we only have emergency, I don't treat animal when it is not an emergency. And I usually tell people what is happening, because at the end of the day, if anything bad happens to maybe somebody's animal, I should not take the burden, because I usually tell them before I start maybe attending to an animal that I never went to school, so that they get to know, because there is no need. Even if people are after money, yeah, there are some monies that you should not be after, because somebody will be sweating. At the end of the day, you mess up with maybe an investment that he had placed, so that's not something very good, yeah. Just make sure that you be that trustworthy. Tell people realities about yourself, and at the end of the day, they decide, yeah, should I take this person or not take this person. Irregardless, you would never went to school, but he can see, they see you that you have some knowledge about even somebody who went to school. At least you can rhyme, yeah, you can be in the same pace. So that is so much appreciable here in the community, because a lot of people like me because of that, because I have to stand with the truthness, so that I'll tell them this is happening, this is happening. I never went to school, but I'll help you, yeah. Actually, I've launched different programs, like maybe something like rescuing animals. We are now rescuing animals in this village. So that means I have some around 2 friends whereby we rescue animals and take them there so that they can be there, because for me, I don't have a land where I can maybe put these animals. Sylvia Busolo, welcome. Hi to. So for me, say, yeah, hi to you. Just feel welcome. Come to my life so that we can discuss about this village life. I was just explaining where I got this gift of knowledge, and now I can see, look at the traveler. Hello to. If you have any questions about animal, just write the questions, so that when I'll be discussing about village life, I'll be handling the same questions, so that at least people can be aware, irrespective of any question that you can ask. Today is just an open, it is just Q&A. Ask any question about maybe village life, what village life entails. You can ask questions on maybe farming, about animals, about the community. I'll respond to every other question about the community, which I'll just handle specifically the Isibania village. I come from Isibania village, so some distance from Nyabuhansi, so that means in Isibania I'm well conversant with any question that I'll be asked, and I will answer those questions, yeah. So one of the things that I'll talk about, maybe, okay, I usually, maybe sometimes I usually walk around the village, so that I appreciate what is happening in the village, because this is a very peaceful village. A lot of people focus on farming, mostly of them. Others venture in business. Remember, Isibania is next to the border, just less than a kilometer from where I'm now seated. Less than a kilometer, we have the border of Kenya and Tanzania, where a lot of business is being conducted in this region, because especially for importation and exportation, because there are some of the things we have, and there are some things that Tanzania nation have. So at least we exchange, we do what we call importation and exportation. So that means business wise, Isibania is a good place to conduct a lot of business, because like now we can see a lot of lorries here in the border, so that they are taking maize from Tanzania, they are bringing to Kenya. So that means, yeah, that means now Tanzania is the one sustaining us in Kenya currently, because we have shortage of food here in Kenya, so that you get a lot of importation is being conducted in this borderline. So we have to really appreciate that, yeah. So basically here in the village we do what we call local farming, where what do I mean by local farming? Local farming is that we just do things maybe in the traditional way of farming, where when like now people have planted, yeah, you get that people used to wake up very early in the morning with their oxes. Those are cows that plow, others with their bulls. So they will go plow their shamba here in the village, and now we have maize we have plenty of maize that has been planted in these small shambas that we have here. So that's why I'm really talking about agriculture. Remember, agriculture is the backbone of this community. Without agriculture, I don't know how this community will be thriving, because out of this agriculture, now we have a lot of feed in this village, because which can sustain us a lot, because one of the crops that we farm around here, one of it is just about maize, beans. We have cassavas. We have some other crops that do well in this region. Yeah. One thing that I usually tell people here is that this land, this village is blessed, because almost all crops thrive well in this area. A lot of people, a lot of investors come to this region because it is very productive, it is very fertile. So with that, you get a lot of people like this village. Yeah? And with that, I really appreciate me being born in this village, because farming is one of the things that a lot of people venture in, and I really appreciate that. Yeah? So maybe somebody, because I'm just waiting for questions so that I can answer about this village. Yeah? I can now just guiding you through what is happening in this village so that we can really appreciate. Yeah? Some people used to ask me what type of animals are found in this region, others what types of crops that are common. So I'll just discuss about the types of animals that do well in this surrounding. Yeah? When I said about this climatic condition of this region helps a lot of different breeds of animals thrive well. Huh? One of the breeds, actually both exotic and indigenous animals thrive very well in this environment. So when I'm talking about indigenous animals, let's say about cattle. Okay, we have classes of cattle. We have a class of maybe goat, sheep, all, even birds like poultry thrive well in this society, in this community, in this village. Yeah? All animals thrive well, because I've seen horses. Okay, around a kilometer from here, we have something like a horse. Somebody has a horse around, and it thrives very well. A lot of people have animals which thrive very well. So that means this region is very productive when it comes to animal keeping and crop farming. Yeah, even crops, because most of the people here venture in different crops. You can see some other people maybe having arrowroot, other plant tobacco, other maybe do maize planting, others beans. So a lot of people plant what they think is good for them. There is no any restriction, or we have a specific cash crop. But when I was born, yeah, the time that I was born, yeah, the major cash crop in this area was the tobacco farming. But nowadays, at least we can see some people having something like coffee. So that means people are now doing what they feel is good for them. Others do what we call pepper planting. So that means a lot of people, in pepper we call them here in this land pilipili. Yeah? Some people plant pilipili so that they can sell the hot pilipili and the entire thing. Yeah. So about maybe the local farming method that people do here. One of the local methods that here people do is just plowing their farms. Those who have maybe the animal manure, they add the nutrients to the shambas with those animal manure. And at the end of the day, yeah, you get this land is very nutritive, very fertile, so that any other crop thrives well in this location. Yeah. So, but at least I have to appreciate nowadays that a lot of things are happening, and this village not left behind, because we can see some people, some individuals adapting the modern ways of farming, like maybe the use of herbicides, because some days back, yeah, some years back, people never adapted these the use of chemicals in their land. So that means a lot of people were just doing things in the traditional way, like plowing, using jembes, others using maybe cows. But nowadays you can see some of the people use tractor in plowing their land, which is much appreciable. Yeah, others use herbicide maybe to kill maybe weeds in their plantation. So that means the village is growing, village is getting education. So that means the village is growing every day. Yeah, and for that I really appreciate, because the growth of the village life leads to at least we embrace what we call a technological thing, yeah. And the village is not even left behind when it comes to climate change. That means we have a lot of forest here, because when somebody visits just my videos, you can get that there are a lot of forest around. So that means we are just doing afforestation with that. So that means we play a big part when it comes to climatic changes, yeah, which I usually advocate for, yeah. Many a times you get me maybe advocating for somebody maybe doing what we call afforestation, so that they can plant a lot of trees. Many a times you see me do what we call reforestation, yeah. You cut down trees, but you have to make sure at the end of the day you plant some trees. So remember, I'm just waiting for questions about the village, about animals, about farming, so that I can answer all questions in accordance to the question that will be asked, yeah. So I'll be waiting for the question so that I can respond to those questions. So some people usually tell me, how are these rural areas people adapting to new technological or practices? Yeah, the way I've explained, a lot of people are now adapting to these technological things that are happening worldwide, because we are embracing a lot of things. And one thing that I like about this village is all about maybe how people do a lot of farming. Remember, this Isibania is one of the villages where somebody can survive minus having money, yeah? Yes, I agree, a lot of people don't have money here in the village, but because they do what we call farming, which sustain them for a longer duration. You get that somebody who farms crops, he can take this crop maybe to the market, then they can take this market then to the market so that they can sell. You get other maybe having animals, because we have a market nearby called Mabera market, yeah. One of the actually East African, I can call it maybe international market when it comes to maybe selling of animals, yeah. A lot of people go there to sell animals when they have problems. So let's say you have a problem maybe with fish, you go sell the animal that you have. Others go with maybe their chicken that I used to call. A lot of people usually ask me, what is cuckoos, yeah? Cuckoo is the chicken, yeah. A lot of people carry their chicken to the marketplace so that they can sell and get money so that they can educate their children. So that means a lot of people are just working hard so that to make this end meet, yeah, irrespective of what is happening. Because when you just wake up one day, you go somewhere asking for somebody maybe to lend you money, you won't get assistance, yeah. You only sell what you have, and selling what you have, that means you have to maybe catch the chicken you have, go sell it. You have some people who don't venture in this farming, you get that they go ahead and sell land, yeah. For me, I don't really support somebody selling an ancestral land, yeah, because this is something that is not good. Imagine you given a land for free, then because you need money, you go maybe sell that piece of land. Then after selling this piece of land, some part of the money maybe because of the fee burden, somebody gives pays fees for the children. The rest of the money maybe somebody decides to go do what we call sherehe, yeah. In Kiswahili we call it sherehe, doing just party after party, which will not be there, yeah. I don't really advocate for somebody maybe selling a piece of land so that you can take children to school. Why can't you leave this land to somebody maybe even for 3 years? Then after that, that person maybe can give you the money that you require. Then after that, at least for 3 years, you can get money that at least you can take the children to school, minus selling that piece of land. Remember, the way you are given this piece of land is the way you should give your children that piece of land, even if it means subdividing this piece of land to maybe your children will subdivide this piece of land maybe to their children to their children, yeah? With that, at least we will utilize this land to the maximum, yeah, because I really don't advocate people selling this piece of lands, because it drags the community behind. What about the next generation? They will be having nowhere to stay. That's why we get some people have decided to be maybe chokora. Chokora are just those street boys that we have maybe in the villages, others are in towns like Nairobi. We have a lot of chokoras because they don't have a home. And this is because their parents or relatives decided that they will maybe be selling that piece of land so that they maybe educate their children. With that, you get their children don't have a place to stay because they don't have. Life becomes very difficult in the village, and with that, they don't get somewhere to stay. So that means they won't be having shelter. One okay. Here in this village, the majority of the tribe we have here, the Koreans. Okay, this is because I've said it's a border post, so that means we have different communities here. We have the Luos, we have the Kisis, we have the Kikuyu, we have the Masai here. All of them just doing what we call business, yeah? Because at the end of the day, what makes this town grows is all about welcoming the maybe investors, welcoming the business people that make this town grows rapidly. Yeah? It is one of the most growing towns in Kenya because here we have different tribes, and those days, back those days we had maybe Koreans alone here, where something like cattle rustling was very, it was just in a surge because a lot of people theft of animals was here, but at least nowadays we hear just small cases of people stealing cows. But those days we were just hearing some gunshot, some what, people are not educated. I have to appreciate, yeah, nowadays we have a lot of people educated here in the village because as compared to those days back, we never had educated people, especially the girls were not educated. But at least nowadays we now see maybe girls are coming up. What actually motivates me, because education should be done all the angles, irrespective if it is vertical, if it is horizontally, all where. Because in the olden days you get that girls education wasn't something that was being done in this community, but nowadays we get a lot of educated ladies here. So that means the village now it is growing, people are growing, people get concerned, people are now educated. So they now do, because at those days you get that when a girl maybe reaches a specific age, yeah, she's being forced to marry. So make sure you just like this YouTube channel so that we can at least we can progress, because I'm seeing only one like. Let's join, like the video so that and share so that people can join this live and get educated about life in the village, yeah? Because this life in the village is very good. That's to me, because the way I see changes happening in the village. Remember some other days here in this community we used to circumcise the ladies, but at least it is now diminishing. It is not 200% because we have some ladies, maybe, you know, there is a language, maybe somebody is being called a language that a name that if you be called that name, the next day you will wake up that early in the morning, you go maybe to get circumcised, yeah? But I have to thank those people who have just brought the initiative of educating the girl child so that they cannot be, maybe this girl child cannot be crucified in the name of circumcision, yeah? Because those days a lot of circumcision was happening in this community, but nowadays it is just happening near our neighbor, so that you get some girls, yeah, who maybe they feel circumcision is a good thing to them, of which me I can't advocate for circumcision. So they are just escaping to the nearby country here, which is Tanzania. They go get circumcised, then they come here, and for that isn't something good. But the government of Kenya is doing all measures, is doing a lot of things so that to get rid of this vice that is affecting the girl child in this community, yeah? Because we started with them not getting education, the girl child, but nowadays I have to appreciate they are getting education. Circumcision was very rampant, but nowadays circumcision has just gone low. So that means we are up to where we want this community to be. And another thing is about maybe illiterate. Yeah, illiteracy was rampant by those days, but nowadays we have great people in this Kenya who come from this village, this community, and are much educated, and we have to appreciate because of that. Even though life in Kenya is very difficult, yeah, people having money in Kenya are just few individuals as compared maybe to some other countries. Yeah, so that means we have around a population of around 3%. We can just call them that they are rich. The the rest of the population that may be in the medium level, and others are very poor. Yeah, because basically in the community here, in the village here, a lot of people are very poor. It's not because they wanted to be poor, it's because here there is no job. So that's why a lot of people just make the ends meet. They have to do farming so that to sustain themselves. It is not like the other country that maybe people get a lot of maybe opportunities. Let's say like the way people are granted education. Yeah, it is a must education for some countries, irrespective of where you come from. It is free. But when you come to Kenya, you have to pay school fees. Yeah, because we have seen a lot of people not going to school because of lacking of finances, lacking of money. It is not their wish, it's just because the condition of this country, the corrupt nature of this country make them not get free. Because as I'm speaking now, yeah, we have a lot of problem when it comes to school, because schools are now coming down because the suppliers are not being paid, who supply maybe food, they supply many things that are happening in school. The contractors are not being paid because there's lack of money. Yeah? And this money, know that Kenya does not have money. Remember, they tax money to every other Kenya, but you get that this money goes to some few individuals that that are in this country. That means the corrupt nature of maybe people in this country. So that's why the village, maybe to some extent, we have to appreciate, because it is moving ahead as compared to maybe some 20 years back. Yeah, so especially for the girl child. Yeah, for me, before even I look to other people, I have to look first to the girl child. I have to appreciate, because we have some organizations, some individuals who goes ahead and they give maybe something that we call the sanitary towel to the ladies, which is a good thing that motivates them to go to school, because without these sanitary pads, you get that this community will be dragged behind. So I usually tell people that the girl child means a lot. Let's support the girl child in this community so that because okay, for me, I'm not monetized. Yeah, when I become monetized, the first thing I'll be doing is just paying back to community. What do I mean by that? You will be seeing me maybe buying some sanitary pad, some of the gifts so that I can give to this girl child. Some of these, because not that even though I never went to school as expected, yeah, I just went to some level, yeah, I can sacrifice myself so that I can give some support to some extent so that I get these children. If it will be giving a book and a pen, yeah, so that these children can get learned here in the village, will be something motivational, yeah, especially this village of Isibania, because a lot of support is not being done here, because actually people assume that because maybe some villages in some places are getting some maybe gift, even Hispania are getting the same gift. Yeah, because here in Hispania we have maybe say some little charity work that is going on here. So by embracing that, so that is one of the things I'll be doing. Yeah, once I get monetized, I have to support this community, I have to support this village, I have to step in so that I can be funding for some of the projects that help these children. They help these maybe the vulnerable women, men, some of the children that are on the street, some of the people that don't get shelter, some of the people that require basic commodities. I have to step in so that I can really help them, yeah, because not because there's something that, not because of that I have sympathy for these vulnerable or these people in the village, because yeah, I'm just putting myself in those shoes, because these people don't have shelter. They're being rained on. Others are just getting they are in a life of poverty. Remember, when you want to grow with people, yeah, once you grow with people, actually they will appreciate, yeah, because when you want to grow with these people, regardless if, okay, we don't request for maybe payment after maybe making somebody grow, but at least you make them live in such a way that it is very acceptable, in such a way that you can even survive in that life, yeah, because we have so many people sleeping in this village under the trees. I remember one time, yeah, when life was not adding up. I was my first time before I went to Shamba Boy in Eldoret. Yeah? The reason why I went to Eldoret is just to get maybe something to sustain my family. When I was leaving to Eldoret, I had challenges were about finances. I never had enough transport. I just got out of this village. I took a matatu to Eldoret. Me reaching in Eldoret, I started being a street boy. Yeah? I was a street boy for around 2 to 3 weeks, just sleeping on the floors of the buildings. When night time reaches, I go maybe nearby hotel. I just pretend that I'm just there maybe to buy something. Even sometimes you can even borrow somebody even 10 shilling, that is Kenyan shilling, so that you can go in a hotel so that you can buy a cup of tea. You drink this tea from the time you enter this hotel to around midnight. When it reaches midnight, you take another cup of tea and worth 10 shillings that can sustain you until morning. Yeah, this is something that I used to do for survival. Yeah, because me imagining that cold outside there, sleeping on the floors, it wasn't something very good. Yeah, you know, when somebody looks back, you can even cry, because life was not lifing. Yeah, because it was a hard life. When people now see me now, even when I'm volunteering in this community, when I just tell them these stories, I can't imagine, yeah, because many of them maybe say that why didn't you tell us, because you know, when you are just giving somebody like a second hand information, yeah, there is that what we call sympathy that should not be there, because when I was struggling with life, nobody was concerned. Nobody was just coming telling me that because you don't have job, let me offer this job to you. But remember, I just came out of this village. I went to Eldoret so that I can start be with a Shamba Boy nature. After that, I have to appreciate, because all these things happen like a miracle. Yeah, miracles happen because when I was a Shamba Boy, I dedicated myself to that farm without coming back home. Yeah, I had to do what we call maybe when you get paid, you had to send that money back to the village so that at least those people who are behind you, they can go back to school. At least you put some more effort so that your boss can see that this guy is struggling, because I went for around 3 years minus even asking for off so that I can come back and greet people back in the village, yeah? Because I was hungry. I was really hungry to get that fund, because I never wanted people who are behind me to pass the same life that I used to pass. So I was really hungry with that, and with that, I think the people who are behind me, okay, even if many of them are still back maybe in school, but at least I have to appreciate, because you can see like maybe 2 people have done, maybe have just completed Form 4, so that is very much appreciable, yeah, because even you reaching a Form 4 level, yeah, a Form 4 level, that is a lot of struggle, yeah, stepping by foot to school with no sleepers. That's a life that was by those days. But nowadays I have to appreciate because the village is now transforming itself. We have maybe some people now chipping, we have sympathizers, but you getting these sympathizers is very hard, yeah. That's why even for me, when I go do this charity about animals, yeah, you just look at the lifestyle, what is happening in this village. Sometimes you get, you actually you use some drugs without being paid. Remember these drugs you bought with money. Let's say for some instance, like today, I was just walking near by the road, yeah. I saw a cow emaciated, very thin, yeah. Because this cow was not doing well as the way I expected, yeah. I had to knock the nearby house so that I can ask who is the owner of this animal, because when I was knocking, that home said just a valuable woman came out. Then I asked him, "What is happening in this with this cow? Because you are not even treating it. You are not even doing what where you have just tried here. Remember, here in village, yeah, we tie animals with the ropes so that they can graze nearby where you have tied it. Yeah, so I had to chip in, irrespective of her having money or not having money, yeah? And I really I helped that animal, yeah? Because like now I have challenges of maybe having a camera. Sometimes maybe you are passing, maybe you see an animal, maybe an animal that is suffering, you have to help that animal, and at the end of the day, maybe you get not paid, and life has got to be to proceed, because I usually call myself an animal lover. So that means I have to dedicate myself to these animals so that they can be happy. Sometimes people venture into farming, you get that somebody has planted something and you get that he has no money, he has that motivation of doing farming, but due to lack of money, due to lack of funds, that agriculture is not continuing, yeah, because of that passion somebody has. You start something, then you leave it halfway. So what I can say for now is that let's walk in this journey. Let's help the community, especially for the valuable, because I usually tell people that the way I said, this money that because I'm not monetized, yeah, when I give this money from YouTube, so that means when I get monetized, I'll be helping the community. You'll be seeing me in the cameras, because for now I'm just taking this burden alone, yeah. Because I usually tell people, me, when you see me here, I don't even have a home. I just rent. I stay in a rental house. There is where my journey starts, and I have a lot of videos where my journey usually starts from, in a village setup where I've rented. Then my journey usually starts that I usually hire a motorbike so that I can just go through the community. When maybe a client calls me, I have to rush there. When I'm passing by, maybe I can see some animals, some people suffering, so I have to help them, yeah, because you never know where blessings will be. One day, one time, the same people you are helping now, they are the same people who will be helping me you in future, yeah. So irrespective of what is happening, what is undergoing, so that means, yeah, people do things with a reason, and I have to appreciate the way people are just dedicated in helping other people, yeah, and I have to appreciate about that. So with that, we really make the village thrive very well, because helping the community, you never know, we are not here in this world to stay for long. So helping people in the community, you never know if the same people will be helping you with your children, where when they will be in this community, and the entire thing, yeah, irrespective of what is happening. Because you know, some people want this they want to do this maybe with a payback, yeah, but for me, I don't need any payback, because you do these things just to help, yeah, not just to get, maybe to thump your chest so that you have helped people, so that you want to get being helped. No, you just do that because of a reason. You have to help the community. At the end of the day, yeah, the gain, you gain, because there is nothing sounds good when you have a peace of mind, when you see yourself, like me, yeah, when I've helped somebody, and when that somebody says thanks to me, I really appreciate. That is the happiest moment to me. Yeah, just let us learn on how to be trustworthy. Let us learn on how to do this thing and helping the community well, because it is much appreciated. Somebody telling you thank you, it creates a lot of impact than somebody who maybe you give somebody, maybe you want maybe payment after that. Yeah, because if somebody does not have money, just help that person. Yeah, that is something that I can tell all other individuals. I'm just waiting for questions so that I can respond to the questions, because I can see Sylvia Busolo, I can see Luga the Traveler, and other some people, so that I can see them. So if you have any questions, yeah, just make sure you ask these questions, so that because I'm almost ending my live. It is now 40 minutes. I think I've spoke a lot that people never expected that I can speak this too much, but I have to appreciate. Yeah, the next video I'll be doing will be tomorrow, because I'll be leaving to Eldoret, so that to do something that we call benchmarking, where I'm just going to learn on new technological ways on how farming is being conducted, so that when I come back to the community, it will only take 2 to 3 days, 2 3 days, and then I'll be back to this community, so that I can tell people what I've seen, where we can adjust, because we cannot send the whole team maybe in the village to go for benchmarking. Yeah, just I'll be going alone, so that I can come with videos. Tomorrow I'll be live from one of the farms, so that people will appreciate what is being done in that farm, how they get a lot of milk, how they do their farming, so that people can get learned and learned and learned, because I'm here to help the community, so that in terms when it comes to animal keeping, we can see them maybe at a higher level as compared to the older days, the way people used to venture in this farming with a lot of seriousness. But when somebody come from other part coming here to do benchmarking, they can just say these people are now joking, because they don't think that this a village. They don't think that a village can be somehow behind when it comes to agriculture. When I'm talking about agriculture, I'm talking about maybe farming in the shamba, and about animal keeping. So like now we have a lot of indigenous animals around. So we want to change the way people are farming in this location, in this village, so that we can get exotic breed, so that we can get, there is nothing that can be done. Let's say when okay, let's say for example I take this initiative of transforming this community, so that we go step ahead in terms of raising animal to the exotic breed, and then we be the leading maybe in milk production, maybe in Kenya or in this region. Yeah, it will sound very good. Yeah, from somebody, just one person can transform the whole community. Yeah, because like now you cannot go around maybe teaching these farmers the modern ways of doing crop, maybe raising animals. But with that, maybe when I go for benchmarking, when I come back with the videos, they will get educated and they will really appreciate, guys. Yeah, so tomorrow I'll be leaving to the benchmarking. So tomorrow I'll do a live bit early, so that we can do what we call actually that will be benchmarking. Then I'll share that video, maybe I'll post that video in my YouTube, so that people can come back and see what is happening. Yes, so that people can come, actually people will come learning and learning and learning. So with that, we will be achieve our something like a sustainable farming here in the village. With me, I want to see maybe in the next years, the village is thriving very well. The village will be thriving very well. Actually, which I'll really appreciate. Yeah, I'll really appreciate. So, because one of the things that I have to make sure I fulfill through this, maybe through this journey in this year, is just making people adapt to the modern ways of doing farming. I have challenges of maybe transportation, because I usually take that I start my journey from my where I've rented, then go to the field, So that means I usually hire a motorcycle to take me to that field. You know, when you are hiring a motorcycle, you have to spend a lot of money, because at the end of the day you have to pay the person who has rented you. You have just hired that motorcycle from that guy, so that you can maybe pass through the villages and help them. Yeah, this one this one is one of the biggest challenge, because you doing this job alone is just much. Sometimes it becomes hectic, but because you have that passion to interact with these animals, you have no other ways just to help them. Yeah, because I have to see these people growing in terms of animal. Yeah, remember, I just call myself animal lover, because I know what are my ambitions, because I believe one day, yeah, I'll be doing this animal keeping, and people will be coming to where I'm keeping this animal to do a lot of benchmarking, because I know I'll be a passionate farmer. And I have to thank, yeah, there is a friend of mine who has just told me that I'll give you a space, a just small space where you can raise maybe some chicken. So that means maybe in the next month, when I get monetized, I'll go construct that house, that chicken house, so that at least I can prepare from there. I just set aside some little money so that I can now go do what we call I construct a house for these chicken. Then I start from there. Maybe the next time I get funding from maybe the YouTube, I'll go ahead and buy some chicks, start that journey. And these chicks, I'll be doing them to train the farmers, to train my audience on how to raise these all things, because I have ambitions, yeah, of keeping almost all animals. Yeah, it's only that I don't have that space to keep these animals. Yeah, because I have to raise cattle, I have to raise goat, that is dairy goat, and these are the breeds of goat. I have to raise the pigs. I have to raise the chicken. Talking about an animal lover, I start from a point. Yeah, when people are coming to benchmarking, I don't go search like now. Yeah, I'm just going to all the way to Eldoret to search for cows that I can educate my people with. Remember me going to Eldoret transport, so that I can just go 2 to 3 days. I do some good videos. Coming back, I train the community. I tell them just go there, just watch those how people are doing farming at that end, and that thing is really motivating. The other time, I went with a good friend of mine that is called It's Nasto. We really learned a lot of things, because you can see from his channel, because by then I never took any video with him. At least we had a lot of educational things that usually refer to many people to go watch what was happening in Eldoret, yeah, when it comes to raising these animals. Because this journey about content creating, yeah, you can't walk alone. You must be having friends, because we have outs to that side. So that means that I shouldn't be walking alone. We should be maybe supporting each other. Like the time that I went to Eldoret the other time, yeah, I never spent any money, because it's Nasto spent the entire, actually the one who was just doing the entire thing, yeah, because he wanted to learn something about animal, of which I made sure I've taken him to various farms so that we can get learned about this animal. When he comes back, you see a lot of people actually learned on how to raise animals. There was a lot of interview in his channel on how to raise this animal, which is very appreciable. Yeah, this time round I'm just going alone with no any other person, because that's why even I'm going, maybe I used to go maybe a day, then I'll be back, but I make sure that I do a lot of videos, so that when I come back, a lot of people could learn from the videos, because we believe that this doing video is much better than taking the whole community, or taking the whole community, the whole village, yeah, to do benchmarking, because some of them will be going there to joyride. Yeah, remember, even these animals that I usually share when I'm outside the community, yeah, a lot of people usually ask, do these animals exist? Because for them it is just like a nightmare. They don't believe that we have some huge animals. They don't believe that we have some cattle that can produce 30 plus liters of milk. So that means, yeah, to make this village grow, we have to fully support them regardless of anything. We have to make them grow, yeah. And with that, that means I have to conduct a lot of trainings, because like next week I'll be now doing what we call community knowledge, yeah? I have now to call maybe something that we call groups or the barazas, so that I can be maybe guiding them through various animals. But I'll start with poultry farming, because that is one of the areas that a lot of people in this community like. Yeah, when you talk about something about chicken, you can see every other person doing their neck this way, yeah, because this is a venture that somebody can do in a small space and can get maximum profit, yeah. Remember, this community, this village has to be helped. With me, I volunteered to help them when it comes to animals, yeah, just doing it for voluntarily, yeah, just making sure that they get learned about the modern ways of keeping these animals, yeah. If I could be having ways on how, maybe I can, maybe for maybe 10 houses, I can just be taking to them maybe 2 chicken. I think these people could be praying maybe my name, my name, my name, because yeah, some of them they don't have finances to raise this chicken. But at least me conducting barazas, and I'll be doing those barazas. I'll be taking video about these barazas when I'm training these farmers on how to this animal farming, which I'll be doing, then sharing the video when maybe I get a good camera, because like now I have a phone that it does not. We are now sharing a phone with one of my friend. I'm using a friend of mine phone so that I can take good videos. My friend my phone does not have a front camera. I'm just using the back camera, yeah. But sometimes it helps me for survival, for communication, that I should really appreciate, yeah. Because we used to believe that phones are made for communication, before, because I'm just a month, 1.5 month old in YouTube. And with that, so that means I'm still in that journey, yeah? Now I'm just using somebody's phone, but I believe, yeah, there in front I'll be having maybe something like a camera, something like maybe a good phone that I can be taking video, sharing those video to my audience, so they can be really appreciating the way I'll be training maybe the barazas of the community, because we have maybe women barazas, we have church barazas, we have maybe the employment baraza. So I'll be going there personally when they have maybe what we call in Kiswahili kikao, when they will be meeting, yeah. I chip in so that I can be training them about the benefit of having animals in your farm or in your homestead, because yeah, me, one thing that I usually believe, what you keep is what will help you in future, yeah. To my village, yeah? Let's say for example you keep this chicken, yeah. When you keep this chicken, this chicken is the chicken that will be selling in order to get this money, yeah. So I just really humbly request, yeah, if you would like maybe to help me maybe to do those all things in this village, I will really appreciate in both prayers, because one thing I usually believe, prayers from this one God that we usually pray to contributes a lot, yeah. With no money, with money, but we have to pray first with all these things, yeah. So that means from next month, yeah, because I know maybe I'm pushing so hard that I can be monetized, so that I can chip in, try helping this community, this village, that is Isibania village, because in terms of maybe support, it is not that much supported as compared maybe to some villages. Because me, one thing about me, I don't mention names, yeah. I can't say that maybe this village that is next to my village that has a lot of people that offer support more than this my village, yeah. We are the only people that maybe we can just chip in, help the community grow, help the community thrive. I'm with 6 minutes so that I can end my video, because today I've not seen questions, so that means I'll be ending my video in the next 6 minutes, because exactly 1 hour was my time, so that I'll be talking about this village, yeah? Today I was just talking about village life, the way this village life is very hard, very difficult. because I have passion for this village. I won't run away, because sometimes you sleep getting up in the morning, you think like, should I leave this village because it has no future? Remember, we the youth are the future of this village. When all of us run out of this village, we won't be helping this village, because we have a lot of youths who have gone to Nairobi, others have gone to get greener pasture, because things happening here are very terrible. Some people, you just make yourself sleep so lunch can pass, make yourself sleep so that supper can pass. A lot of people are struggling in this village so that a lot of things pass. Yeah, people don't take lunch, some people don't take supper, some of them okay, to me breakfast is not something good, because most of the times I only take one meal. Yeah, the lunch meal. Once I'm done with the lunch meal, at least I know I can survive the whole of night just sleeping until morning reaches. When morning reaches, I just assume morning has reached, so I won't take any breakfast. So I go maybe take my lunch. Once I am done with the lunch, I call it maybe the next day. Yeah, some people, I have good friends that usually tell me, hey, me surviving in this village with no food, it's hard for me. Yeah, you get that a lot of people say that. Yeah, but for me, this is something that I've adapted. Going on dinner's meal is something like it's not a problem to me, because even others sleep hungry. We have a lot of people in the village sleeping very hungry, so that means I'm not the only person who just I just bend low, these things pass. Yeah, a lot of people struggle. Yeah, remember, village in Kenyans are one of the most struggling people in this world. Yeah, because people don't get money. People have, maybe you get somebody. That's why a lot of homesteads that I usually visit, yeah, you can see people are just trying all means so that they can have vegetable. Yeah, here the basic commodity, all the most people eat ugali. Yeah, ugali is the basic food here. So that means once somebody has ugali, maybe with some mboga the vegetable. Yeah, so that day pass that way, so we wait for the next day. Yeah, that is what is happening. You can see the nearby, maybe let's say a good example in Nyabohanse. You can see people crying out saying that back in the village